And we are live today with Dr. Rajbans on a free clinic on HealthWise. And this is the first time that we're doing this on FB Live, on Facebook Live. And we're going to get to actually see Dr. Rajbans here as well, which is great. Dr. Rajbans, how are you feeling?
Good. It's
looking good with the tie and everything.
Yeah, doctors, we always like to wear ties.
Why is that? Is there a reason?
I don't know. I think it's not the surgeons. The surgeons operate so they don't like to wear ties because they're going to change anyway.
Yeah.
I think the physicians are the ones that go around talking to patients, looking at things, and the physicians always have a sort of they wear tie. They like to look smart, and I think it's creates a confidence in the patient. That's what, especially the British teaching was always that.
British.
Look smart. The British are always, they look very proper when they come as a doctor. They look very proper. So I think a lot of us are British trained, so we follow that.
Okay.
And I know how do people get with us?
Carries a handkerchief as well, right? Do you still carry a handkerchief around?
Really?
Yeah.
Doctor? Yeah, I remember seeing him with a handkerchief in the studio once.
Right. That's classic. I like that.
So, if you have any medical questions at all that you would like to ask Dr. Rajbans, he is right here. Just leave us a comment, or you can also, I have the DG LITE line here with me. You can also send us a text message, 016-510-8888, or a voice note as well that we can play for Dr. Rajbans to listen to. So this is basically our free clinic, but on Facebook Live. So if you have any questions at all, just shoot us a question in the comments section. And I think, JD, you read something about COVID-19 and being immune to it, right?
Yeah. Well, or the lack of it, actually, because recently I just heard and I saw this in a research paper that WHO has refuted claims that once you've gotten COVID-19 positive and you recover, that there's no evidence to say that you are immune to reinfection. So what's the difference between immunity and picking up antibodies, Dr. Rajbans?
I mean, if you look at infections, let's say if you get chickenpox, which is also a virus, right? You get chickenpox as a child. Chances of you getting another chickenpox in your lifetime is very low because your body is built an antibody. Same goes with measles, mumps, and that's what viruses are. For example, even if you get dengue, there are 4 strains. But if let's say you get dengue, 1 strain, you are actually immune for that strain, although you can get the other strain. So that's what normally the body develops an antibody against a certain virus. Now, not influenza. Influenza, after 1 year, you find that your antibody will reduce, and that's why we vaccinate people for influenza, every year. It's a yearly vaccine because the virus can mutate and change. So what we know about COVID so far is that there are people who are getting reinfected. One is whether the virus is already mutating so fast so that you got antibody against the one, but it's already mutated, and now you can get another reinfection. Or whatever said and done.
Strain, right? Yeah,
of the mutated strain. Now, but if you look at what's happening here, you find that 20% of people are asymptomatic, another 60% seem to get very mild disease, 20% get more severe, and some of them get bad enough to get ventilated and all. Now, that 80% that have got no symptoms of mild disease, I believe it still comes back to our immune system. In our body, we got what we call NK cells, like natural killer cells that actually kill viral cells. So if the virus gets into the cell, the NK cells will kill not only the cell but also destroy the virus. And I think our immunity still is something that we should consider. I think a lot of times we talk a lot about all the other things, which is very important in social distancing, keeping washing your hands, making sure you are, avoid people who are not well. So important because you don't want to get a big viral load which your immune system will not handle. But I think the other part is also keeping that immune system healthy, eating the right diet, getting some bit of exercise, managing your stress, having good sleep, maybe some supplements that you think will boost your immunity. So all these are, and you can't boost your immunity in a few days. It takes weeks to months to get a good immune system built up. So I think, and this virus is not going to go away.
Now, speaking of immunity. Yeah, speaking of supplements, doctor, we have a question here from Shamini. Should I take multivitamins only or take separate vitamins like vitamin C, vitamin B12? Like, should we take supplements according to our needs or can we just take one multivitamins?
Yeah, I think on that part, it depends on your lifestyle. If you're someone very healthy, eating very right, having all the right sort of nutrients going into your body, and you're having a good sleep, you exercise, you don't have much stress, and then maybe you might just take a multivitamin just to supplement, like even Harvard says just a multivitamin, multi-mineral will do. But if you're taking a supplement, the question you must ask is, why am I taking the supplement?
Mm.
Maybe you're taking vitamin C because you think it will help your immune system, fair enough. Why you're taking B12? Is it because you've got problem with your nerves? Are you diabetic? Or do you have a high homocysteine? Right? So every time you take a supplement, why are you taking vitamin D because your levels are low? Are you taking omega-3 and turmeric because your inflammation levels are high? So I believe that whatever you take a supplement, ask yourself, why am I taking this supplement? Is there
Mm.
a reason for me to take this? The thing I worry about is sometimes people get carried away and they take supplements because their auntie told them, or the next door neighbor told them, or they read it on the newspaper because it looks good, you know. And
Yeah.
you might end up taking unnecessary things, which again burdens your liver. So always ask yourself, why am I taking a supplement? And if you're not sure, ask someone who is knowledgeable. Talk to a dietitian, nutritionist, a doctor, or some holistic person who knows, they can advise you accordingly. Right. So supplements, I mean, they're compared to drugs, I'm still sure they're safer. But always
Mm.
ask yourself, why am I taking a supplement?
Mm.
And
But I
who do
remember
we
you
speak
saying
to
something
about
about,
that?
yeah.
Who do we
Sorry.
speak to about what we need? Because multivitamins, and you're right. I started taking multivitamins because, well, my mom told me to take multivitamins. But how do we know what we need? Because you said if you have a blood issue, you take this. How do we know who do we speak to? A GP, or do we need to go to a specialist?
I think even a GP should be good enough. A lot of GPs today are actually quite into all alternative sort of nutritional medicine. In fact, I think the GP is probably more knowledgeable than the specialist because most specialists are very focused on their area.
Mm.
They're a chest physician or they're a cardiologist or whatever, and they're focused more on procedures and treatments. Whereas you need someone holistic, someone who is a nutritionist or someone who is like a GP who is more knowledgeable about holistic medicine. And I think for supplements, you also must need to do a lot of your own research. You need to, I think health is your own responsibility. So you need to ask yourself, what are the things I need to do to keep my body healthy? A lot of
Yeah.
us, we don't bother until you get a crisis. So
Yeah.
I think we have to start focusing on prevention and wellness. The virus has come at a time and it's keep open our eyes to many things. If you're not healthy, you're in trouble. Look at all the times the Ministry of Health, our DG comes up and says, now we got 98 or 99 people who have passed on, and they always written that they had chronic disease, diabetes, hypertension, kidney disease, strokes. Always there's some cancer, some chronic disease is there. And it looks like the virus is going after people who already have a chronic disease. Okay? So
Mm.
it tells me is that please make sure you don't get a chronic disease, right? And that's
Yeah.
very important. And that's again prevention and wellness.
Mm. But I remember you telling us not too long ago about vitamin C, that it's no harm taking vitamin C, that everyone
Yeah.
can take vitamin C. But can we overdose on vitamin C? Is there such a thing?
Actually, if you take high doses of vitamin C, I know people who take up to 10,000 milligrams a day.
Oh,
You know, and the only side
that's a
effect
lot.
you get is, yeah, that's a lot. I don't know why they take so much, but the most likely side effect is diarrhea. You'll get diarrhea. The rest, other thing is that basically, if you don't need the vitamin C, it's just going to come out in the urine. It's water soluble vitamin anyway, right?
Mm-mm.
So it's just unnecessary taking so much of vitamin C. So again, if you're asking yourself, what dose? Why should I take? I mean, I take about 1,000, 2,000 milligrams every day. I mean, it's just something that I always taken for a long time. Personally, I find that if I don't take my vitamin C, I get more. I'm always exposed to infections as a doctor. And I find that if I don't take, I seem to get the flu faster, maybe psychological. So I think, and I've been taking it for many years now. So I
Yeah.
think there's no harm. So why not just carry on?
But with vitamin C, though, um, you have the pills, and then you have these water
Soluble
soluble,
one.
effervescent ones. Which is the right one to take?
Anything, whichever you prefer. I think most of them are okay. But one thing caution here, vitamins are not a replacement for your lifestyle.
Mm.
That means you can't take and eat whatever you want and then hope I take some vitamins and I'll be okay. No, it doesn't work that way. Your your nutrition that you take, the food that you take in, the nutrients you're taking in is actually the foundation. And the word supplement is supplements your lifestyle.
Yeah.
does not replace your lifestyle. So very important that people understand. So I find a lot of people who are taking 20 vitamins, so I should be okay. No, it doesn't work that way. You know,
Just
supplements
want to
your
say
lifestyle. If your lifestyle is not good, you're still going to get the disease. So that's very
Mm.
important.
a very good
Okay.
afternoon to everybody who's watching us tonight, right now on FB Live. Cecilia Chai, Lin Chua, Eng Lai Im, Hui Keaton Power. That's a really cool name. And I almost caught myself there because I actually commented there, but no. Good
Well,
afternoon.
we're on the free clinic with Dr. Rajbans here for light breakfast. Now, of course, this is not breakfast time, but we are expecting any of your medical questions to come in on our comments right now. Our doctor is here to answer any of your questions immediately. So you can send in your questions also, not only on the comments here on the Facebook Live, you can also send it to our DG Light line at 016-510-8888. And we actually received some questions previously that we will ask now to the doctor. Tina, who is 62 years old, she said, when I get up from lying down, I get this dizziness that lasts maybe 2 seconds for the past month or so. Please advise, doctor. So Tina is 62, and every time she lies down or when she wakes up from her sleep, she gets a bit dizzy.
Yeah, I think thing is whether she's on any medication is important to know, because if she got blood pressure, is she on any antihypertensives? So her symptoms are very suggestive of what we call postural hypotension. That means when people lying down, they get up suddenly, the body can't compensate and the blood pressure drops. That will cause that slight giddiness, then the body will compensate. Now, in the elderly, that can be also normal. I mean, she's not really elderly; she's only 62. Right? But sometimes some people cannot compensate when they're lying down for too long. Blood supply is right the legs, and when they get up, the cardiac output is not fast enough. But like she said, only 2 seconds. So what she needs to do is just get up slowly, wait for a while before she stands up. And
Mm.
if you look at most of if you ever seen the old Shaolin movies, they always shows that Shaolin monks getting up very slowly. They never get up from the sitting
Yeah.
position fast. That's the reason, because if they get up too fast, they will have the drop in blood pressure. And I think that's what all of us have to, as we get older, we have to learn how to compensate for that. If she's on blood pressure medicine, then she must check and see whether that's the cause of her issue and then talk to a doctor.
Okay.
At what
Now,
point is it dangerous? Because a few seconds is, you mentioned, fine. At what point does it get, okay, I need to go see a
Yeah, I
specialist
think
about
if it
this?
lasts longer, she actually gets a blackout or syncope, right? Doctors will measure her blood pressure, that means lying down and then making her stand and see whether it's a drop of 30 millimeters. If it's more than 30 millimeters, let's say if your pressure is 140 over 80, or when you suddenly get up, it drops to 100 over 60, that means quite a big drop. That's not safe. That means we have to look at what's going on. A lot of times, blood pressure medicine cause that. So if you are getting up and you're getting actually giddy enough to actually like go and have like a blackout, then it's something more serious. What she has is just 2 seconds. I wouldn't really worry. She just learn got
okay.
to compensate for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
We've got some
Nisha,
questions, Bel.
Nisha
Yeah.
Sundram from our Facebook Live page. Doctor, are there any harmful effects to taking probiotics? I
Okay,
feed
as
my
long
pre and probiotics every day, so yeah, that's
yeah.
good to know. Are there any harmful effects?
Yeah, so right now I think vitamin C, probiotics, both of these help to build up your immune system. So I take this regularly. Now, as long as the probiotics are from a good company, that means whoever you got it from is a registered, is a someone that is a reliable manufacturer. Probiotics are actually very safe. There should be
Okay.
no problem. Uh, just follow the guidelines. Some of them say must be refrigerated. Some say take before food. Some can be kept outside, but and you take them after food. So just long as you follow the guidelines that the manufacturer has put there, whether you take if they say two, take two. So just follow that. You should be very safe, right? Now, if the manufacturer says take two after food, don't go and take 8 or 10 after food, so then you might over increase and then you're going to end up with diarrhea and abdominal cramps. But otherwise, probiotics are very safe.
Okay, but why are there some strains that need to be refrigerated and some that don't? And is there a minimum amount? Like, because I've seen some that are 20 billion, what do they call it? Live active enzymes or something. And then some that are 5 billion. Is one better than the other?
I think not really. Most of them talk of billions, but it's just a matter of how the technology. Some people have got a technology where they can actually make sure that the bacteria stay alive in the capsule, and
Mm,
some don't have that much of technology that that's why I want you to keep it refrigerated. Also, the quantity. Some people, when you tell you 20 billion, they keep put 25 billion there, so they expect a few to die anyway. But you
mm.
still have enough of that. Where some put exactly this enough. That means if they're 20 billion, they put 20 billion, and some will still die. That's why I want you to refrigerate it. So so that's the reason. It's just the way they manufacture it, the way they store it, and the technology behind it, right? But most of the time, they're actually quite safe. Most of these probiotics.
We
I
Okay.
also
know.
have a follow-up question on probiotics from Ronnie Thum. Should we get probiotics strain from local sources or European or US source? What difference does
Mm.
it make?
Yeah, I prefer local sources because I think it's important that we grew up with our local bacteria.
Yeah.
You know, we
Mm.
when you're children, you're crawling around and you're touching here and touching there. That's how you got some of the bacteria in. So the locals culture is actually much better for us. You know, so it looks more exotic to get from Japan or Europe or US, but not where probiotics are concerned. I think if you get a local strain, and there are companies in Malaysia that do very well to make local strains bacteria. So I would still want to take local. I would prefer that. You can sometimes change a probiotics, take some foreign ones if you want, but try to get some local strains at least on and off to give you some support. And probiotics you don't need to take like all the time. You can always give a break, take for a month and then you can take a break again and start again. So you don't need to carry on taking all the time.
Is there anything wrong to continue on taking it every
Really?
day? Uh-huh.
Nothing. I don't think anything will happen. But if you think you're given enough good bacteria into your gut and you're having a healthy sort of lifestyle, you don't need to. But I think if you were to take every day, it's no real harm actually.
Okay. All right. We have a question from Bradley Tan here. Hi, doctor. I have bad eczema and it has been getting worse recently. I've been using the same cream for the past year, but it's not working anymore. What should I do?
Actually, there's also a similar question on eczema. Sorry about that. It says, I have a similar question to Bradley, who actually just asked a question. Been washing my hands so much these days that my eczema is getting worse. Is washing hands too much also the cause of it as well?
Yeah, bro. I mean, eczema is basically an allergy. It's some sort of allergy that's to the skin. And if you ask me, I think uh, we doctors actually don't have much treatment for eczema. We just give you creams, which are steroids or something else, and give medicine to our itchiness. And actually, I don't find that we can cure it. We can reduce the severity of the disease, but we can't cure it. And I believe that eczema is part of the whole immune thing where asthma or allergies and all that are all related, and it's like your immune system is system. So it's something that you have done to yourself. Probably genes play a small role, but it's your lifestyle. And I think for people of my patients who have actually got the eczema under control, or some of them even cured, is again a full total lifestyle change. They've gone total into plant-based diets. They've gone more natural foods. They cut off all sort of junk food, all toxins, all chemicals. Even the way they use, things like their deodorants or their perfumes are all more natural. They reduce their stress a lot, learn mindfulness, learn meditation, breathing exercises, get into a exercise program. So it's a total lifestyle change, and somehow that they are suppose they balance back their immune system. Taking some supplement like probiotics will definitely help. And going into that sort of lifestyle change, they actually sort of suppress their eczema, and some of them actually even cure it. So I think look at that, try that, and see. Of course, you see if your doctor has asked you some medications, you carry on, but change your whole lifestyle. Uh, some people even find benefit in alternative therapies, for example, Ayurveda or homeopathy, something to consider, because Western medicine, we only can give you drugs that can sort of suppress but no cure. So I
Mm.
think your foundation is still lifestyle change, and whether it's you're dealing with the allergy or the asthma or whether you're dealing with eczema, this is something that you really have to try now. Again, it's not going to happen overnight. When you change your lifestyle, it will probably take you months to a year or two before you see a change. And I think a lot of people give up too fast, or they try it for 2 3 weeks and say, oh, it didn't make a difference. So I
Mm.
think lifestyle is not like medications. Medications work very fast. So your symptom control is there, but you don't have a cure. Lifestyle will take you much longer. No, but in the long run, you will get healthier. Overall, your chronic disease will disappear if you have any other chronic disease. I think look at that as a way to deal with this eczema.
So a lot of time people with eczema also they will do like trial and error with like maybe their detergent or their body soap and things like that. They might be allergy to something in there. And in your case, Irene, since you've been washing your hands so much, maybe it's the hand wash, the
Yeah.
hand soap or the sanitizer that you've been using that is making your eczema flare up.
Actually, just wear a glove and see whether it goes away. If every time
Mm.
you wash, just wear a glove first and see whether it gets better. If it gets better, then it's definitely the sanitizer that's causing the allergy.
Okay, but people with really bad eczema all over their body, lifestyle change is the only way that they can.
For long term,
Yeah.
short term, of course, your creams and your drugs and all that. But if you want it to completely, get subdued or suppress or even disappear, it is going to be a long term effect.
But
Mm.
what's the percentage of people actually getting cured of eczema? That means they had a complete lifestyle change. They went all natural, but that's not necessarily a 100% guarantee that their eczema will clear up. It's just suppressing it,
Really,
right?
good question, but the thing is, when people get better, they don't come and see the doctors anymore.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
they're cured,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So all my experience is that when I give a lot of health talks, the Wellness Society, I give free clinics in health. When we got hundreds of people attending my talks, and I have a free clinic, and that's when people come up to me and talk. I agree with you. I did this, and my eczema has totally disappeared, or my asthma has gone away now, or my allergies have disappeared because of a lifestyle change. So it's more of a ad hoc sort of people coming up. And a lot of these people who come up in my wellness talks, they never come and see doctors anymore because they don't need to
Because
see
I'm
doctors
cured.
anymore.
I'm done, right? Yeah.
Yeah, great. Doctor is not very happy about what to do. Right? So, but I think that's the way to go. Ultimately, the idea is that we want people to stay healthy. That's the way. And I think lifestyle is one of the ways you can look at. And again, to go into that, I think you need a lot of education. It's your personal
Mm.
responsibility to manage your own health. And again, mixing the right people, talking to the right people, learning the right things, very important. I mean, today it's so easy with our YouTubes and everything to learn a lot of things from people.
The Google doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, the Google Doctor,
Doctor
but
Google.
just be careful of Google Doctor because you can also get wrong information.
That's true. All
Now,
right, let's get to the next question.
Irene Yap has a question. Doctor, you were talking about vitamin C. What about calcium? I'm taking vitamin D culturate for my bones. I'm 64, and that is the only vitamin I take. And I'm told that we should not take too much of calcium as it doesn't work if it's too much. Is it true, doctor?
Yeah, I think that's a question. Now, calcium was given to all women because they get menopause and they get
Osteoporosis, right? Yeah.
osteoporosis. Yeah. Then came out the big studies that came out and said that a lot of the deposits in the arteries in the heart and everywhere else are calcium deposits. More than the cholesterol actually, and that's when everyone got worried about calcium. And what we have realized today is actually better than calcium. You can take some calcium for women. It's actually building your bones when you're younger through exercise, which is weight bearing exercises. But the supplement that's important today is actually vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 today is actually looked at as a like a hormone. It is even for even building your immunity today. It is as important as vitamin C, anti-cancer, building protecting your heart, building your bones up. So vitamin D3 is the one that is now becoming a big thing in where bones are concerned rather than calcium. The
Mm.
other one that's
D,
looking at is
yeah,
this one,
doctor? D
D3.
for donkey,
Denmark.
yeah?
Yeah,
D3,
donkey.
yeah?
Then yeah. And the other one is vitamin K2, where they say K2 actually takes the calcium out of the arteries and puts it into the bone together with vitamin D. So these are the
Wow.
new things that we're looking at and learning new things about what's going on. So these are the supplements that I would look at, vitamin D3, vitamin K2, calcium, especially for guys. No, I wouldn't ask guys to take calcium because it goes
Oh,
more into the artery. Goes more into the arteries. Guys normally don't have osteoporosis until much later. So I would rather stick to vitamin D3. Women, you can take some, but not a lot, maybe 1,500 milligram, like the one in Caltrate, like he's using. But I would consider taking a vitamin D3 supplement. The other thing you can do, though it's a bit expensive, is check your vitamin D3 levels. Today we have checked so many of even myself, our vitamin D are low. We don't go out in the sun, we don't take foods that are vitamin D rich. And a lot of people, not only here, all over the world, have vitamin D deficiency. In fact, they say that's another pandemic, vitamin D deficiency. Check your levels. If they're low, then see how much you need to take, whether it's 1,000 IU, 2,000 IU, or even higher if it's very low. Because vitamin D is a very important vitamin for many things today.
yeah. What will happen if we have vitamin D deficiency then? Will we get sick?
Uh, your risk of osteoporosis increases, muscle wasting goes up, and risk of cancer increases, risk of infections goes up, even heart disease. So many things they say. So vitamin D is actually now something that if your levels are normal, then okay.
Mm.
But
But they're
generally,
not,
men
then
don't need to worry too much about calcium deficiency.
no. Men don't, because the only reason you take calcium is for the bone osteoporosis. Men
Right.
seldom get osteoporosis until they do get age related, but it's much lesser, much later than women. So,
Okay.
and
Okay.
because calcium is in the arteries and men are higher risk of heart disease, I would actually avoid men from taking
Right.
calcium.
Mm.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that men are not vitamin D deficient as well, right?
No.
So men
Vitamin
can
D is
also
very
take.
important for both men and women. Vitamin D, not calcium, vitamin D, very important
Right.
for
Right.
both men and women. And I
Okay.
think men should also take vitamin D if the levels are low.
Okay. Here's another question from Abu Bakar Moidu. How to know when we need to be screened for COVID-19, considering that I do not have any direct contact with positive cases? Must I be screened if I have any of the COVID-19 symptoms, which is similar to the common flu, fever, etc.?
Yeah, I think if you right now we are actually not testing everybody. If you have a history of travel or you're exposed to someone who is COVID positive, then definitely they will do a test for you. If you are having a fever, cough, sore throat, and they suspect, then they also might do a COVID test for you. They're not doing for asymptomatic people right now. But in the future, I think with mass screening, they may even look at that. They're looking at checking your antibody antigen. Right now, if you are, but the problem is we don't know who you're exposed to, isn't it? Because now we know the asymptomatic areas. So if you find that you've got a cough, fever, sore throat, uh, then you go and just check your doctor and see whether they think you warrant something further. No,
Mm,
if you have anything like shortness of breath, definitely you have to go and get an X-ray or get a COVID test done. Right?
okay.
So we're not sure of asymptomatic people or if you're just getting a mild flu, whether they will test for you. Right now, I know some of my patients have gone to Ministry of Health, and if they don't have really mild symptoms, actually send them home. Right?
Yeah.
But if you have travel or if you are exposed to someone COVID, definitely they will do your test.
Yeah. Because I
Mm.
think a lot of people these days, everybody's on edge because the weather's a bit strange now. It's been raining a lot, and then next, it gets very, very hot. So you're bound to get a little bit sick sometimes. You get a little bit of cold, you get a fever, and people are wondering, do I have COVID? Do I need to go to the clinic? What's going to happen? So should they go back to the regular clinics?
I mean, I don't. The regular clinics won't do the testing, but there are certain
Yeah.
hospitals or the labs that do your COVID testing. Of course, it's not cheap, so you just have to pay for it. But if you're worried, these labs do screening tests for you. I think there's certain hospitals, certain labs that do screening tests for you. And if you're worried, then you only thing is you have to pay. It probably cost a few hundred ringgit to do the test. Uh, so if you're really worried and you think that you want to get it tested, then just go ahead and do it.
But if you're
Mm.
not, I mean, like you can't. So let's just say it is the regular flu, regular cough and sore throat, whatever. You can still go to your regular clinic.
Yeah.
And at that point, if it's really COVID, let's just say, will a GP at a clinic be able to go, I think this is more serious than just a regular cold?
I suppose depends on the GP, depends on how. many cases he has seen and what he thinks about it. I think most GPs today will probably, if you got a cough, cold, flu, sore throat, they'll probably refer you off to the hospital and let the
Yeah.
hospital decide whether
Yeah.
you need to do further tests or not.
Mm. Yeah, but I do
So that,
understand that if people were to come up and just say that I have a cold symptom, they will ask them about their history, especially if you go to a government clinic, because the test kits are very precious. So they'll ask you whether or not you've traveled, whether or not you've been in contact with any people who have tested positive, and if you don't, they might not test you. Yeah.
yeah, especially if your symptoms are very mild, they'll ask you to go back home and rest at home. And if
And only
anything,
when
it
you
gets,
feel worse, when it gets worse, a couple of days, then you can call them back and tell them that
yeah,
your symptoms not
that's,
so good.
that's what they're doing. So even if the private hospitals, if they think you are sick enough to need admission, then they will
Mm,
do the COVID test. And of
okay.
course, they check for all the things like dengue and influenza and all those things. If you are COVID negative, then of course we treat you for whatever symptoms you had. If you are COVID positive, we send you to back to the government hospital. We don't
Yeah.
manage in the private.
Okay.
Because
Now, next
I
question.
felt it. Yeah. Next question. Yeah.
Let's go to the next question by Pauline Ong. Hi, Dr. Rajbans. I'm always blanking out when I have too much wind.
Wow.
It's very dangerous when I'm driving. It happened before, just for a few seconds. My whole body floats up. Usually, after taking 1 or 2 doses of Nexium 40 mg, everything just goes back to normal. Did a narcolepsy scan many years back and all was normal. I noticed these blanking out incidents usually happen when I have anything with coconut milk and also anything that's sour. Can you please help? Thank you. That's wow, this it's a unique case. So when she says blank out means like she just lose consciousness, is it? Like faint for a while.
Is this really
Yeah.
unique?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually dangerous if you're driving and that happens to you. But at the same time, she also got
Yeah.
symptoms like heartburn, isn't it? She says she gets a lot of wind and
Yeah.
certain foods that aggravate it. So whether it's a food
Coconut milk
intolerance,
and anything sour.
yeah, so that
Mm,
could be like a heartburn. Sometimes heartburn can give you that reflux and make you, but you shouldn't blank out. Normally, when you blank out, is something else. It's something in the brain, something in the heart. Your pressure changes. So, anything, we call this actually a syncope or a blackout. Anything that causes a blackout and it is common, you have to get it checked up. I would advise you to go and see a specialist and to get it worked up because it's not safe. Especially if you're driving or walking up the stairs and you blank out, you can fall and injure yourself, or you're driving and injure other people. So this one, I would anyone who comes and gives us a history of syncope or blackout, we actually do a full test for the brain and the heart and look at other things. And in her condition, we may also look for doing a scope to see whether it's something in the heartburn or a gastric thing that's causing your problems here. So see, this needs to be
mm.
checked up. I wouldn't take it lightly.
She says everything goes back to normal after she takes Nexium. What is Nexium? And
Nexium is it's an anti-gastric medicine. So it also
Mm.
helps your reflux. So it just reduces the acidity in the body, in the stomach. So reflux will get better, gastric will get better. But from what I know, gastric and reflux should not cause you to black out. A
yeah.
lot of us that shouldn't cause you blackout. So something more is going on here. I think it needs to be checked up.
Okay. But what kind of specialist should Pauline go to see? Like, should she go see a stomach specialist for her gastric, or
Yeah,
should
I think
she
maybe
go
start
see
with
a
that.
brain specialist? Yeah.
I start with the stomach specialist because he gets these symptoms, and of course, then he will probably also investigate the syncope. So he then might ask one of his colleagues, like the brain specialist, to also work out and see. So they will know what to do. They'll know what are
Mm.
the tests. There's things. We got a battery of tests that we need to do to rule out what's causing the problem.
Because
Okay.
I'm a very bloated person and I'm very windy as well. I've never blacked out before. So this is
Yeah.
something I've never experienced before myself. Other
So
people
it's not
black out
the
when I have gas, but yeah.
right. So, but you
Okay.
don't black out. You don't black out. So
I
you
don't,
know
other
how.
people do.
Other
Yeah.
people will faint when he
Yeah.
passes gas. Okay, our next question is from Trevlin Eason. Hi, doctor. I was diagnosed with a mild aneurysm on the left side about 9 months ago. I have never felt the same since. I feel healthy most days, but I constantly get a pain in my left eyeball, and the eye just sort of droops or closes on its own. I experience sharp pains in my lower head and just above my neck. What can I do to stop these? Is it normal to still be having all these feelings?
I mean,
That's
if you got
from
a, yeah, that means aneurysm in the brain. Uh, though they say it's small, but I think he needs to be go back and talk to his neurosurgeon and see exactly if he's getting symptoms like eye drooping and all. That means that aneurysm is disturbing his you know uh, vision and all that. So I think he should go back and talk to his surgeon whether it needs anything to be done. I mean, today they can either clip the aneurysm, or they can even, using the radiologist can actually go in and use a clip to clip the whole thing. You don't have to actually go for a major surgery. So I think he has to get this sorted out because aneurysms can become a problem, right? They can get bigger, they can rupture. So I think this has to be sorted out. You should go back and talk to a neurosurgeon and see whether they can get some neuro interventional radiologist who can solve this problem for him.
Is this aneurysm like a stroke? Is it like a mild stroke?
No, it's no
No.
stroke is different. Aneurysm is vessels have come thinner and they have dilated in the brain and they're pulsatile. So sudden rise in blood pressure can suddenly rupture those aneurysms. And you get a lot of times asymptomatic patients never had problems suddenly come with a loss of consciousness, and next thing you know they actually have a burst aneurysm in the brain, and this can be very fatal. So though he is small, but he got symptoms, he should go back to a neurosurgeon and discuss with them.
All
This is
right.
not a precursor to, because I've been
Stroke.
reading, like, there's a very famous badminton local badminton player, Chan Ping Sun, who suddenly out of the blue picked up Bell's palsy because he was very tired, and then he noticed that things are drooping, and it's not a precursor to that, is it?
No, no, no. Bell's palsy is just a viral infection. Viral infection that causes edema of the near the the where the seventh nerve comes out through the behind the ear. So there's
Right.
a canal there. It causes edema. So it's a viral infection. So the nerve gets compressed and you get the total paralysis of the facial nerve. Right. So
Okay.
This is a
that
virus.
virus. It's a virus that causes that, and most of the time, 91% recover fully. Prognosis good, provided that they go early to a doctor. Doctor will put them on some steroids, especially in the initial phases, to reduce the edema. Get them on a physiotherapy program, and most of the time, 90% will fully recover.
Hmm.
But they must
But
go quickly to
Travelin's case is completely different. Her case is different.
different, and it's an entirely different thing.
Okay. All right. So, Travelin, go back to your doctor, get it checked again. Yeah, because if you're experiencing all these symptoms, means there's something wrong, right, doctor?
Belle, I think we missed one
Yeah.
question. A quick one from Joni Tan,
Oh,
who
yes.
asked a question that Dr. Rajbans absolutely will love, because it's how to improve your immune system. Because she says that she keeps listening, and immune system is always very important. How do we improve our immune system?
Basically, if you look at the immune system, it's a number of cells in our body that are what protects us. Uh, you got your T cells, your lymphocytes, your natural killer cells, macrophages. These are the body's natural soldiers that are in your body. They protect you against viral infections, bacterial infections, and cancer. So any abnormal cell or any abnormal thing that's in the body that the cell can't recognize, they will actually go there and destroy it. Honestly, these are like our Star Wars, the Jedi, that are going to look out for
I knew it. Yeah.
uh, all the all the bad, all the
What
Darth
was it called?
Vader's.
the dark
There's
force there.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at what happens, if you look at people who, for example, take people who get a disease called AIDS, the T lymphocytes are not there, and the body can't protect against its own infections. Your own body's infections in the bacteria in your body can attack you, and so that's what immunity. If elderly people, as they get older, the immune system gets down. Diabetic people, the immune system gets down. When you're stressed up, your immune system gets down. You take too much of toxins, you take too much of foods that are full of chemicals, preservatives, and all. Your immune system gets down because your free radicals go up, inflammation goes up. So all these disturb your immune system.
What about
And
when you're fasting during Ramadan? I mean, because you're tired, you're sleepy, and you're not eating. Does that
no,
affect
in
your
fact,
immune
that
system?
improves. The moment you are fasting,
Oh,
your body actually gets rid of all the dead cells, uh, and actually when you are fasting, your body's inflammation actually comes down. Your immune system actually improves. That's why all of
Hmm.
them talk about every religion talks about fasting. We discussed that about last time about autophagy, where you actually eat all your
yeah.
dead cells, right? So fasting actually is good. Uh, it is the junk food that we are taking, is the lifestyle that we are doing today, right? So if you look at the blue zones in the the Okinawans, the Sardinians, and all these people, it's just a lifestyle. People with purpose. They have social interaction with their families and friends. They eat a very plant-based diet. They exercise, every day. They have good sleep. They are very excited about life. They're very positive. So it's a whole concept of, and why they do that, why they live long, they don't get disease, because their immune system is strong, right? So to build up your immune system, it comes back to a lifestyle. And tell people, keeping a positive attitude, uh, having a very plant-based diet, natural foods, no refined carbs, no saturated fats, uh, exercise, reduce your stress, good sleep. Very simple, very simple things, but not easy,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it
because
doesn't mean drink
uh,
lots of ginseng and eat lots of ginseng, but I party all night long. It doesn't help.
yeah, it is definitely not going to help. Like people, my patient come to me and say, "Doctor, can give me an injection, then I can be healthy." But don't ask me to stop. Don't ask me to stop taking my, all my good food and my drinks and my smoking. It doesn't work that way. I say you're just going to waste your money. So it does not work that way. Your foundation is your lifestyle. But I think a lot of people today, I think I call it a condition where we got food addiction. We got a
Hmm.
seafood diet. The moment it's seafood, we eat. And uh, And I think we are addicted to food. All of us go through the problem. You have breakfast, you're already thinking of your tea break. You have tea break, you're thinking of your lunch. And what's going to be for dinner? So I think we have got into that food addict, and I think we
Mm.
have to change that. We have to look at ourselves and see, what we should go back to nature, listen to nature, go back and eat the right things. And I still feel that like what the blue zone people do, 80% plant-based. Don't eat till you're totally full, 70% full. Things that are simple things like that that you have to do, and that will really help your immune system.
Yeah.
Some supplements can help. We talk about vitamin C, probiotics, and maybe other things. Like for example, is it turmeric to reduce inflammation? But those are, like I said, supplement. They supplement your diet.
Hmm.
I would rather take natural foods. A lot of herbs, spices, fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds. These are what you need to take. Right?
Yeah.
These are natural foods.
And I remember you telling us during our last health-wise session as well about fasting and how people here, yeah, fasting is good, it helps, but not if when you break fast you just overindulge yourself in all the
Hmm.
food,
Yeah.
right?
Make up for that. Make up for that. That 14 hours that you're fasting. Now you got to eat every hour. It doesn't work. People come to me and say, "Doctor, I followed intermittent fasting, but I've not lost weight." Because I asked them, "Okay, you fast for 16 hours. What do you do in the 8 hours?"
Mm.
They actually binge. They're eating every hour. They're just making up for that, and they're eating again the wrong things. So I
Yeah.
said it doesn't make your intermittent fasting just not going to work at all.
Mm.
Okay. Next question.
All right. Yeah, from Liz Hodges. Hi, Liz. So, doctor, what can I take besides my vitamins, my asthma medicines? I still have blocked nose and sneezing as I have sinuses. So
So
she
again,
takes vitamins and her asthma medicine, but she still have blocked nose because she has sinuses and sneezing. What can she
I
take?
mean, sinus again is chronic inflammation, so it's really a lot of inflammation, and basically again her immune system is out. She's probably allergic to things, and it's again her lifestyle. And a lot of times we don't look at our lifestyle. We are hoping again for some miracle cure. So doctors will give you antihistamines, they might give you some steroids, they give you some local nasal decongestion. So all that are not a cure; they're just symptom relief. Honestly, to really look at the long term, we discussed all these just now, all the lifestyle changes, maybe taking, I would want her to take vitamin C, probiotics, maybe even take things like fish oils and turmeric to reduce the inflammation and see whether all that helps. But again, if you don't change the underlying lifestyle, I mean, eating a very plant-based natural foods, cutting off things that are going to increase the inflammation, like saturated fats, and all the refined carbs, all junk food. Anything unnatural should be taken out first. And if she can do that and reduce the inflammation, you find that she will improve. Slowly she'll get better. Again, it's going to take time. It's not going to be overnight. It will take at least a few weeks to months before she see any difference. So don't give up too fast. Even people trying to lose weight, for example, they try something drastic, it doesn't work, and they give up. But if you maintain, I find that after a while you will succeed. So,
Yeah.
but I think you have to keep that, that persistence very important.
So
But is there
sinus
a
is also
yeah,
lifestyle based. I thought it was more like hereditary or something that you have to take out. Like, because I remember my dad had to take out his sinus because he was clogging
Yeah.
his sinus
that's kind
cavities.
of extreme already at that point, right?
Yeah, so that's very bad. When they get that bad, the doctors will try to, do whatever surgery to take out, decongest the whole thing. But more time, if you don't change, it'll come back anyway. So it's a temporary relief, not a long-term relief. So again, for long-term, for sinus, if you can go for surgery, you can do whatever, but after a while, if you don't, it'll come back. It becomes a chronic thing. So that's why they get chronic inflammation. So they must do things to reverse that whole process.
Are there
Mm.
common denominators of what you eat that, like, I've read somewhere, and it was told to me because I have bronchitis and I used to have really bad sinus growing up. It got better as I got older. So I guess the first question is, do things improve or does it get worse? And number two, like milk. Some people say if you drink too much milk or too much dairy products, it will cause your sinus and your asthma to be worse. Is that true?
Again, anything that is too much is a problem. I think milk and all the dairy is again we talked about. The too much of antibiotics inside and too much of uh, hormones inside. So maybe they have adulterated the milk today.
Mm.
If you can cook good natural milk, I won't be bad. But and I think lactose intolerance is again causing problems in our lifestyle. So our probiotics, the good bacteria in our gut, are completely gone, and you get what you call a leaky gut syndrome. So leaky gut syndrome is what I think causes a lot of the symptoms today, from your allergy to eczema to even your sinuses, and so when you already got a leaky gut, then taking things that are like milk with hormones and antibiotics inside is just going to aggravate the whole thing, right? So it's not the poor milk, it's other things that are going on that and what you have done to your gut already, right?
Mm.
A lot of Western doctors will now talk about leaky gut. They call it irritable bowel, which is a
Mm.
Yeah.
precursor to leaky gut, which is already a start of inflammation. And a lot of disease in the body is actually inflammation, right? But doctors give it different name. They call it alveolitis in the lung, myocarditis in the heart. They call it uh, Crohn's or ulcerative colitis in the GIT or nephritis in the kidney. Basically, all it means is inflammation, right? So they made so many different diagnoses and so many different specialists, but it comes down to basic one thing: you are getting inflamed, right? And different organs are getting inflamed, and you're causing different diseases, right? Diabetes is also inflammation. You get metabolic syndrome. So again, why you're getting it is again our lifestyle. So it's a whole thing that you have to change, uh, and it's again you need education because every person is different. Everybody gets a different sort of problems. But again, I think if you just change that lifestyle and reduce that and improve your gut, get the gut syndrome better, you find a lot of your symptoms will get better, and a lot of the disease that we call chronic diseases will get better.
Yeah. I did read somewhere that they said that your gut is your second brain, right? So you have to take
Yeah.
good care of the gut as well.
Actually, they say it's all related, your brain and your gut and your immune system, and they're all related together.
Mm. So, speaking about leaky gut, we have a question from Lorraine Ho here. She says she's in her 50s and she has IBS problems. She's been seeing specialists at the local hospitals, but medication did not help. And she had menopause some 10 years ago, and at times she still have menopausal symptoms, hot flashes, sleeping issues. Now she has very serious bloating and she eats very little. Please advise.
Mm.
Yeah. So basically, irritable bowel is the inflammation of the gut, the starting. And the main this thing is definitely wrong diet. Whatever you're eating is not taking something that's probably got toxins inside, got maybe things like chemicals inside. So all that must go out. Number two, stress. IBS is definitely related to stress. Stress also increases inflammation, right? So you must learn how to reduce that part of it, where, and again, a lot of people don't know the benefits of breathing exercise, mindfulness, meditation, or prayer, or whatever you have to do. So stress must be reduced. Your diet must be really plant-based, natural foods. Take a lot of probiotic. This will really help. Probiotics will help a lot. You can even try things like a lot of spices that are reducing, things like cinnamon, garlic, your ginger, your turmeric. All these actually are very anti-inflammatory. So all these will help the gut. So these are some of the things you do. Exercise. Exercise, helps to improve your circulation, reduce your stress, and also will help the gut. So these are some of the things you have to try, because the medication don't really cure you. They just suppress your symptoms. They're not going to help at all.
Okay. Now, doctor, when you say take things like garlic and turmeric and all that, do you mean just take it like that? Like, do we eat the garlic?
And part of your food, part of your food.
Do we have to eat?
Yeah, 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 cook it in your food, but don't make sure you don't burn it. Make it light, fried, and all this really help. All these herbs are actually very helpful.
And turmeric, like you make it into a
Yeah,
drink to
part of your food. Yeah, a drink, or you can put it in your food.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So wait, that means if I cook technically nasi, let's say ayam goreng kunyit with a lot of garlic, technically I got both things in one.
Problem is the goreng part.
I know, right? I was gonna say that. Yeah.
The moment you fry, you're already causing a whole thing. You will just be increase your inflammation. So, but the same one, ayam, but you steam it or whatever, and use a lot of garlic and
Yeah.
use all the herbs and make it. Well, it'll be a really healthy dish. So it's the
Mm.
way
But
you do it.
Roasted maybe might be the alternative, right? Just bake it in the oven for a while.
I
Yeah.
was so close to getting a cure right there. I was like, yes, I am going kunyit there.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we have time for one more question from Prem Kumar Nagalingam. Hi, doctor. My mom is 70 and she has 2 screws in her left leg as her kneecap broke in 1985. So she
Ooh.
keeps feeling pain in her leg when she sits. She have tough time getting up. Doctor said that she has osteoarthritis. She has been taking osteoglucosamine. Is there anything that you can advise for the pain?
I mean, depends on if osteoarthritis, you got 4 stages, whether she's gone to stage 3 or 4, and if the pain is really bad, then doctors will look at operation. There's a knee replacement. But apart from that, if you're stage 1 and 2, we'll still try supplements. Exercise is a very key part. Right, doing the right exercise. I actually wanted to go for physiotherapy, so to strengthen the quadriceps and help her to reduce the inflammation in the joint. So these are some of the things you can try. The next thing is sometimes doctors will inject some, they call it hyaluronic acid injections to help to increase that oil there. Uh, but all those are temporary. Ultimately, after 3 to 6 months, the pain will come back. So if you see an orthopedic surgeon, get their advice to see what stage is she. Is she stage 1 or 2? Then physiotherapy, exercise will really help. Supplements like glucosamine, chondroitin. Uh, there's others that are there that will help. They got supplements that are today from soy base and avocados that also seem to help in all these joints. So that is the part. But if she's already gone to stage 4, where they have no more the cartilage left, then it's going to be very difficult. The only chance is knee replacement.
So it's not caused by the screws in her kneecaps.
Unlikely, not after so long. But again,
Lack of cartilage, is it?
yeah, probably. But again, the orthopedic surgeon will do X-ray and see whether it's the screws that are they're getting dislodged, they're eating something that they will know. So I think go and see orthopedic surgeon; they will be able to advise what to do next.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Because
you're
my
still watching us on FB Live. It's Bel, JD, and also Dr. Rajbans on a very special health-wise. It's a free clinic, and this is the first time that we're doing it on FB Live. You can get in touch with us right here on the comments section, and Dr. Rajbans will try to answer the question for you. Or you can even get in touch with us on. You have the DG Light line with you, Bel.
I do have the DG Light line with me. So if you feel more comfortable texting your problem over or even voice noting your medical questions over, the number is 016-510-8888. On to that question again, because my grandma is 93 and she also has osteoarthritis on both her knees. Like, she finds it really difficult to walk now, even because it's so painful, but she still soldiers on, and she wants to go on her regular daily exercise. Should we disallow that, doctor?
No, I don't do that. If she's 93, let her do what she wants to do. Uh, she's probably got more knowledge about her body than all of us together, right? She's
Still wants
93.
to go and
But
walk
just
and all that, and I'm like, but your knees are so painful. Like, why do you still want to go and walk?
But if she enjoys it, don't stop her, because sometimes when you stop them, then they really get worried, and if then they start feeling old. One of my
Mm,
patients who lived up to 105 uh, in the 90s and right up to the day she passed on, she actually used to walk with the grandchildren in the swimming pool. They had a
All
condo and they
right.
had a swimming pool. So because then you have no pain, because there's no, the when you walk in the swimming pool, the two grandkids will hold her and then they walk up and down the swimming pool, 5 to 10 times, and that's very good exercise. At the same time, there won't be any pain because the water will support the body. So you can do that. That's a great. But otherwise, get a walker. Sometimes the walker will help her to that there'll be not too much strain on the knees. So
mm.
maybe that she can try things like that. But don't stop her
Okay, yeah,
unless the
because
So
pain
a
gets
lack
so
of
bad.
exercise could be the problem.
we're
Yeah,
just worried she
yeah,
would go, like, right in front of her house. There's a little padang, like a little housing area park, and they will have all those gadgets and stuff, and she would want to go and do all those things, and I'm like, please just go walk. Don't go and do all those
yeah.
fancy gadgets.
Because don't fall and fracture, because
Yeah,
at that age you fall and fracture, then big trouble.
No, but
yeah.
my mom and dad, they're in their early 70s right now, and they recently started following. Well, this was before the MCO. They recently started following me to the gym, and my dad has a little bit of gout issue on and off. And when they started working out, it was just trying to get onto the treadmill and getting used to it. But when we started doing some weights, getting really fit, they started feeling better. So,
Hmm.
at what age do you think, like, should older folks, is it okay for them to start going to the gym?
I mean, if they are fit, very good, no problem. But if they're going for the first time, then they must be very careful, because at least get a checkup and make sure they are fit enough. Make sure the doctors check there's no blood pressure, the hearts are okay, everything. But I think age is just a number, right? If you look at I got people who are, in their 90s who are still going out there exercising. I got a doctor who's 87 now who plays tennis 2 hours a day. So it's just the age, how fit you are and how fit you want to keep. And from what we know from the blue zone people, right up to their hundreds, they're still exercising, they're still walking up hills, they're doing all the things they're supposed to do. They garden, and they really garden. They don't just do simple gardening. So age
Mm.
is just a number. And we know there are people who are running marathons in their hundreds now. You know,
Yeah.
and so it's just up to you how you keep fit. And I think the best anti-aging tool out there is exercise, right? If people come and ask me what's the best thing to stay healthy and stay young, I say exercise. Move your body, right? So very important, because a lot of people after 60 find that, oh, I'm old, so I shouldn't do too many things that will hurt me. But and just a good example, your father's in your 70s and he's doing weights and he's getting better and better. And I'm telling you, that's the real good thing to do. It will strengthen his muscles, get his bones stronger, his heart will get stronger. And just that he must make sure that he just, paces himself, just don't get overexcited and hurt himself. That's all. That's the only thing you have to
Yeah.
worry about.
And now he looks like a hotter older man.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right. Wondering if we have time for another quick question that just came in from Joe Annie. Can you please advise on why people get cold shoulders? Cold shoulders. Is that
As
a
in the term
or
that you get
like
nervous, or
Is it frozen shoulder or cold shoulder? They call it frozen shoulder. Frozen shoulder is basically your
oh
osteoarthritis of the same thing that you get in your knee, arthritis in the knee, you get arthritis of the shoulder. So they call it frozen shoulder, where your shoulder gets frozen. And basically, it's again the main treatment is physiotherapy. So the physiotherapists will, do exercises to help you mobilize that shoulder. So I think she meant frozen shoulder, not cold shoulder.
Cold shoulder is meaning that you get panicked and then you leave, like you get cold
That,
shoulder
that's
before
a,
you leave.
Nervous,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a term that they
Mm.
use cold shoulder. But I think she's talking of frozen shoulder.
Maybe.
She's
So
mistaken the term
frozen
cold
shoulder
and
is just like osteoarthritis, but
Yeah.
in the shoulder.
of the shoulder. Yeah,
So that means that the cartilage in the
Yeah.
shoulder sort of
is
worn off.
inflammation is going on there, and your cartilage is worn off, and your your shoulder movements are decreased. The best treatment is exercise. Sometimes doctors do give some injection. You can still try all the supplements we told earlier. So these are things that you have to get.
All right.
Brilliant.
Yes, that's 1
And you know
hour.
what? Yeah.
Wow.
And you can keep sending those questions in, Dr. Rajbans. I'm sure that if we can, Dr. Rajbans, if we'll revisit some of these questions because it's all on the LITE page anyway. Thank you so much for joining us on this very special edition of Healthwise, a free clinic. I think, you know what? I think we can keep doing this. Dr. Rajbans, did you have fun?
Yeah, fine. 1 hour passed, and I didn't know it's 1 hour. I thought we just half an hour. Wow, that's good. So yeah, I mean, talk to our Steve, our producer, and see whether we can do it again next week. Free clinic. That'll be fun.
All right.
Definitely. Now, thank you all so much again for all your questions. Hope the doctor managed to answer them for you today during our HealthWise session. We will be playing the answers as well on HealthWise for Thursday.
Yeah, some of it. Yeah.
If any of you missed it, you can listen in to the Light Breakfast at 8 o'clock on Thursday for HealthWise.
Exactly. And of course, if you want to listen to the repeat as well, if you just in case you miss it, you can make sure you download the Shock app. That's SYOK. Remember, it's still MCO. Please stay at home, flatten the curve. And before we go, Dr. Rajbans, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right.